Have you ever been on a team where everything just clicks? It feels like magic, right? Well, it's not. It's something much more interesting. It's a hidden architecture, a silent agreement on how things work. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that secret. So, let me ask you a question. What in the world connects a surgeon in the middle of a life or death operation, a programmer who's neck deep in code, and a cutting edge AI? I mean, they couldn't be more different, but they all lean on the very same powerful tool to get the job done. And that tool is the mental model. Think of it as the secret blueprint running inside our heads, and now, even inside machines, that lets us understand the world, predict what's next, and, crucially, work together. It is the absolute foundation of amazing teamwork. All right, so let's dig into that. What exactly is this blueprint our brain is using to make sense of, well, everything? Okay, here's the official textbook definition. A mental model is basically your brain's internal working copy of reality. It's not reality itself, but it's a map that helps you navigate it. You know, when you're driving a car, you aren't solving complex physics problems in your head. You're just using your mental model of how the steering wheel and the pedals work together. And get this idea has been around for a while. Way back in 1943, a guy named Kenneth Craik figured this out. He said our minds are basically running simulations all the time. When you play out a tough conversation in your head, or imagine how a project might go wrong, that's your mental model at work, acting like your own personal flight simulator for life. And what's really cool is how these models work. They kind of have two parts. So take the word dog. The core is the strict dictionary definition, 4 legs, mammal, barks, but the identifier is the flexible, street smart part. It's what lets you see a tiny chihuahua and a giant Great Dane and instantly go, yep, that's a dog, even though they look nothing alike. We need both the rulebook and the real-world experience. So these models are amazing for us as individuals. But what happens when you put a bunch of people on a team and all of their secret blueprints are different? Well, the difference is just night and day. When everyone shares the same model, you get speed, you get trust, you get a team that feels like it's reading each other's minds. It's a symphony. But when those models are misaligned, you get confusion, frustration, costly mistakes. It's just noise. To really see this in action, let's go somewhere the stakes are as high as they get. A place where there is absolutely no room for misunderstanding. A hospital operating room. In that room, having a shared understanding isn't about being efficient or hitting a deadline. It's about survival. The entire team, the surgeon, the anesthesiologist, the nurses, they all have to operate like they're a single organism with one shared brain. And this is what their shared blueprint looks like. The task model is about knowing the plan, step by step. The equipment model is why a nurse can place the right instrument in the surgeon's hand before they even have to ask. The team model is about knowing who's the expert on what and who might be struggling. And maybe most important is the patient model, a live, shared understanding of exactly how the patient is doing. Everyone is reading from the exact same page in real time. So if you boil down all the research, all the studies on what separates the good teams from the truly great ones, what do you get? What's the number one thing? It's this: a shared cognitive foundation, a unified plan of action that everyone on the team doesn't just know, but truly and deeply understands. Okay, so we're all convinced this is mission critical. But how do you actually do it? How does a group of individuals build one of these shared minds on purpose? Well, the good news is it's not magic. There's a playbook. First, you have to talk explicitly. Get all those hidden assumptions out in the open. Second, create shared experiences. Nothing syncs up a team faster than solving a hard problem together. Third, and this one is so powerful, use shared metaphors. If your team agrees we are a pit crew, that single phrase instantly creates a shared model about speed, precision, and roles. And finally, you have to review and refine. That debrief after a project, it's not about blame. It's about syncing up your blueprints for the next time. And now, for a really cool twist. This deeply human idea of having an internal map of the world, it's now at the very heart of how we're building the minds of machines. Yeah, you heard that right. To make AI smarter, more collaborative, and frankly, less weird, computer scientists are basically borrowing this whole concept from psychology. They are actively trying to give AI its own mental models. They're doing this in a bunch of ways. Like with agent-oriented programming, they're literally designing software with its own beliefs and goals. And with something called plan explicability, a robot could actually tell you why it did what it did, because it's working from its own internal model of the task. We're not just telling them what to do anymore. We're trying to give them a worldview so they can reason and work with us.
So let's bring all this home. Let's pull this out of the operating room and the AI lab and put it right back into our world, our teams, our projects, our daily collaborations.
Because what this all boils down to is a simple, universal truth. It doesn't matter if you're holding a scalpel or a spreadsheet. The secret ingredient, the real magic behind any high-performing team, is shared understanding. It's the invisible force that turns a collection of smart people into something so much more. And so I'll leave you with this one question to think about. What's on your team's blueprint? Do you even know for sure if you're all working off the same one? Because taking the time to ask that question and to get everyone aligned, well, that might just be the most important work you can do.